Still do 7 NUFC Matters shows for free a week. But if you want to support the channel, there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast or video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications option. Hit the thanks button to buy a super sticker. You can do this on the live chat too. You can also join our Patreon page or buy us a coffee at the link in all of our video descriptions below. We are also looking for sponsors. If you want our latest advertising rates and how you can get involved, then email John at nufcmatters1892@gmail.com.
Hush now, city kids, gather round for urban myths. Hush now, city kids. When it came to me after so long, I didn't have no choices in the streets where I was from. When I think about the pain, I didn't have no choices. I took what I had sworn. Hush now, city kids, gather round for urban myths. Hush now, city kids. But you know, they wouldn't let you have it any other way. Stepping back from what you lack, the past just pulls you back in again. Save me from myself, it just carries on, just carries on.
Good evening, welcome along to the Fans Forum on NUFC Matters, the start of another week, and as always, we get a chance to listen to what the lads think about the match at the weekend. Newcastle travelling to Bournemouth for their third 0-0 draw on the road. Clean sheets aplenty, but not any goals on the road again. And we'll be looking ahead, of course, to the Carabao Cup game against Bradford and the big match against Arsenal next weekend. Joined by Darren, George, Magnus, Pablo Al-Walid, Barry, Tom and Jeff. Darren, we know you've got to get away. You're going off to watch the 21s tonight against Norwich, so we'll get you on first tonight. You made the journey. You got back about 11:15 last night. You drove all the way there and all the way back for a 0-0 draw. And from what I could hear in the pre-match chat here, you're not very happy, Darren.
No, not at all, Steve. Not at all. The only positive I can say out the game, we've got a 0-0 clean sheet. That's the only positive. The clean sheet's probably the best thing about the match. A lot of negative, I've got to say. Where do I start? Baltimore kept coming deep. And then when I had the ball, we're looking for the path that were up front. He was too close to the midfields, so the players couldn't work out what to do. So he kept coming deep all the time, and when I watched him, when I was looking at him, I'm not convinced he's the right. He's a natural 20 goal player, 10, 15 goal person. That's the impression I'm getting. The minute he may prove us wrong in the middle, that's the impression I'm getting. He's not a natural goal scorer. And Magnus said he'll finish second in the league this year. I'll bet with him now. I'm convinced. Absolutely hell's chance we're going to finish second. If we want to finish second, we've got to beat teams like Bournemouth. That game was able to take it, and we didn't. Miley, absolutely useless. He's not a Premiership player. He may be a Championship player at best. Tonali wanted the ball. He's trying to do something, busting the cut to get in positions. Miley just doesn't cut the mustard for me. He looks very leggy. Give the ball away a few times too. It's just, and Willick, bloody hell, Willick. Where do we start with Willick? I think he done anything but turn up. He turned up. That's probably the best thing he did. He go on the pitch. Chow had a good game. Botman had an okay game. Tino had an okay game. Lewis Paul, good to see him back. Dan Burn, again, I question him because sometimes he goes missing. He gets out of position. I thought he's got to be rested first on Wednesday. Nick Pope's decision making. He was going to come to the ball, hesitate to come to the ball, and nearly got a couple of lads on it. But it's just frustrating, Steve. Got all that weight just for a nil. You expect a little bit more better off them. I couldn't believe Bruno and Joe Lindsay being on the pitch. I thought at least one of them were on the pitch for Miley. After the first half an hour, I took Miley off. My mate Jacob Murphy. He first off he got played by Nick Ballamore. He didn't know what to do. He didn't read the manual. Go and have a shot at goal. What do you do? He crossed it to the ball on them. So Murphy, Miley, and Dan Burn probably. Miley and Murphy were probably the worst two players I've played possibly. Dan Burn wasn't very great. Man of the match, I can only pick up one. Probably Tonali, he was busting the gut. That's my feedback, Steve. That's what I can say, to be fair.
That's fair enough. I mean, it's different when you watch it on the TV to being live.
Yeah, I respect people's opinion, but when you're there...
It was very, very like the Leeds. I mean, I was at Leeds, and it was very like Leeds. It was very much the case of Newcastle setting up not to get beat.
Yeah, that's what it was, Steve.
There's definitely a change in tactics away from home. And that was... And I think after that wonderful attacking display against Barcelona, which inevitably led to us getting beat 2-1. But I mean, we're playing one of the best teams in the world. It was weird seeing that. I get where you're coming from with regards to Voldemort, but he's one of these players who gets involved. There's some wonderful football from that lad, but he's not going to put the ball in the onion bag when he's standing at the edge of the.
I just think he kept coming to the midfield players, and he didn't hold the ball up much.
Yeah. I mean, I watched it live. I watched it back again, believe it or not, because I did want to watch a couple of things again. But I genuinely thought Newcastle and Bournemouth, as Jules has said in the chat, cancelled each other out. They really did. We've drawn down there so many times in the 16 games we've played against them. I think it was, as we went into the game yesterday, it was 4 wins apiece, and the rest were draws, 7 draws. And of course, in the Carabao Cup, Newcastle beat them 1-0. So he's got a slight advantage, 5 wins to 4 wins, if you count that. But it wasn't a game for the purists. It wasn't a game that anybody would take any great delight in watching again. Joe Linton, just a little side note on that before I move to George, is struggling with his knee. That's why he wasn't played yesterday. So Eddie Howe did say after the game he's that knee injury that he had last season is still troubling him. So he's, game management, I guess, with him. Just as well, happy birthday to Tilly's dad. Darren, my dad says he can't believe you forgot his birthday. So, Darren, do you want to pass on your best now?
No, I didn't forget his birthday. I was asleep. That's why I didn't ring him this morning.
Oh, well, there we go. Tilly, it's happy birthday from everybody at NUFC matters to your dad. George, over to you, mate. What was your view? You weren't at the game, mate, but you saw the game like everybody else. What was your feelings yesterday? And by the way, the stick that young Miley's had on Twitter today is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting,
and not warranted one little bit as far as I'm concerned.
And I'm not saying people shouldn't have an opinion on what they felt he played like. People like Darren who were down there, did the hard miles, drove there and back. But anyone who's got a problem with Lewis Miley should not be posting it directly to him on social media. It's an absolute disgrace, to the point where he switched the comments off. Awful, awful, awful. So yeah, go on, George.
Well, I mean, for me, there's more positives in the game than negatives. That's the important thing for me. And the there were a number of people who had good games, played some really good football, including my centre forward. It just, we don't seem to have worked the system out that matches him and the rest of them, because he plays some lovely touches. He has some, for such a big guy, he has some lovely touches. And it's the Lewis Miley. In my opinion, all Lewis Miley needs is some game time. And he'll get back to where we know he can be. Man of the match by a country mile once again was Trinali, who covered every blade of grass in defence and attack. But the other things were that we now have a solid group of people in the middle of the defence. I mean, Botman and Chiao yesterday it was a stroll in the park for them. And I love Tiao's touch on the ball. Bear in mind, these are two guys in their mid-20s. They could be there for a very long time, together with our two fullbacks. And to see Lewis Hall come back as strong as he is, it shows how good Eddie's been at managing his return after injury. He's taken his time. He hasn't rushed him, and it's paid dividends. So he looked good. Up front, the disappointing is that it didn't see half the Elanga that we saw against Barcelona, but horses for courses. And there's no question that there's something about the system which isn't working. I don't believe, for example, that Valdemar drops deep like that out of his own volition. That must be something they're doing in the training, and yet they haven't. They don't seem to have linked it together. The biggest disappointment was on the left side with. Darren mentioned his name. Come on,
Joe Willock.
Willock. Joe Willock was the real disappointment for me. He wasn't. He just wasn't there. He just wasn't at the races at all, which is quite sad because a fit Joe Willock and somebody that's Joe Willock that's on the ball with his usual pace is a great asset to the team. But the Joe Willock that we had yesterday was another thing coming. He just wasn't there. He just didn't turn up, sadly. So there were lots of, as I say, for me, yes, it was a 0-0, but I can think, a year ago, 18 months ago, that was the game we might have been in danger of losing. There was no way in the world we could have lost that match yesterday. There was no way Bournemouth were ever going to pierce our back line to the extent of getting near the goal. So, it's disappointing, but I'm still positive enough to think that there's as much good come out the game as negative things. And, to really put a positive shine on for me, I just looked at the table before we come on. We're only one win away from 4th place, man. That's not bad. So it's not all doom and gloom for me. Yes, it was disappointing, but there were lots of good things as well.
Yep, big thanks to Lee for picking Jason B up. There you go, Lee. You're getting thanked for taxi servicing now. There you go. Magnus, give us your views on the game, mate. You're looking more and more like that character of Red Dwarf every week.
It's just a light, so I don't show all the mess behind me. Anyway, with the game, it was 2 hours that we never get back. I was rather bored. 14 hours for Darren. That's a long journey for that. But in a positive way of thinking, it is still the 4th clean sheet, and defensively we are really strong. Great to see Malik Thiaw get his first start. I think I'm not mistaken, and he seems to be a great ball player. And we were all desperate to see Lewis Hall. We got what we wanted there. I think this is a strange system. I've never really used it on Football Manager or anything like that, like with a 3-4-2-1. I really haven't used it before. I think when you use a system like that, you probably have to have your striker pretty much in place and just fighting the back line. I mean, this is a work in progress, but we definitely should have had a penalty. I must say that, he pulled him for like 10 seconds. It seems to be a thing with big fellas. They just don't. When they fall, it just doesn't look the same. And I think the referee.
That was never a penalty.
No, you did see it better than me. So, I mean, I didn't think it was a penalty when I first threw it, but with all the penalties that are being,
the offside goal should have stood.
Yeah, but with Darren, with all the penalties that are being given against us and against for the bigger team, I didn't think this was any less of a penalty than many others.
No, it's how you went down.
But I mean, that's after seeing it 3 times. You did see it live, so I'll give you that in real time. And
so easy, it looked good. A-star in action.
Yeah. I still think he just pulled him for too long for my ranking. Anyway, it could have gone either way, and with our luck, it was never going to be penalty. So, Darren, you're probably right. Anyway, going forward, I mean, I agree with George. Willock he was playing really poorly. He's been playing poorly for quite a long time. He hasn't been using his opportunities, and he really needs to step it up now because we have a load of games coming up. We got the 4 contests on the horizon, and he needs to really step up his game, or Jacob Ramsey and Miley will be right in front of him, and he will be right at the back of the packing order. I think he was the most negative about this game. I'm seeing good ball play by Waterstones, but maybe he needed to be a little bit more just a striker on the day, because when you got Jacob Murphy, he keeps pumping those crosses in. There would have been a chance, and there was a few chances. Slightly disappointing, but very happy about the defense. And I think when you got clean sheets game after game, the rest will come. And I'm not getting desperate anytime soon. We got time.
Okay, positivity from Magnus there. Pablo, what's your feelings on the match at the weekend? A board draw, not many chances at all, but another point on the road.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's that, mate. I think when you come away from that game against Barcelona in midweek, which is full of emotion, full of excitement, full of thrills. I mean, that display from the fans was next level, really, wasn't it? To then go away on the South Coast and play in front of 12,000 fans, whatever they got, is a completely stark contrast on how you deal with that. As a manager, as you set up, and as the players. I think if you were asking me as Darren, when I'd done that massive trip and spent nigh on 3/4 of a day to go down there to watch it, I probably would be coming away disappointed. I think for me, obviously I didn't make the trip, but when I look at it objectively, the team, the way the team was set up, it lends itself to either suggest that Eddie was happy to sit in for a draw and not get beat, which a lot of us have said so far, but also the fact that maybe he knows the limitations of the players and what we've got on the pitch at the minute and where they are kind of physically. So I think, we've got to put trust in that. I think Bournemouth are always a worthy opposition. We have struggled down there. And like George Graham used to say, if you can keep a clean sheet, you've got half a chance of winning a football game. And as long as you've got half a chance, I suppose really you've got to be happy. I mean, our season hasn't hit the blue touch paper yet. We're still waiting for that game where we kind of burst into life and find that form that we had done last season. And we've seen it in fits and starts. The Liverpool game, for instance, up until the sending off, we were by far the best team. The game against Barcelona the other night, there were certain stages before they took control where we could have been 2 goals up. We were really on them, hassling them. And we've seen it in little lumps, and we're yet to find that again over 90 minutes. But I think with Eddie, it's certainly for me that people like Willock and Miley are coming towards the end of their auditions, you know, and I think he's given them chances now because we've still got enough time to make this season, you know, a success. There's still a lot of competitions we can play in. He wouldn't want to be putting these players in at the back end of the season, business time, still waiting for them to pass their auditions. I think looking at it, for me, Willock, I think we all have a common opinion that, yes, he's a great lad. Yes, he will offer you the, you know, the effort, but he just isn't consistent enough. He doesn't make that grade. For me, I mean, I didn't know about the abuse that Miley was getting, but anybody who's given a young lad trying his best abuse from our football club isn't a true football fan and isn't a true Newcastle United fan. So wherever that's coming from, that's ridiculous. But I am of the same opinion. I mean, I've told you on this show before. My personal opinion is Lewis Miley won't make the top grade at our football club. But that being said, it can still be a valuable asset to us, you know, in whatever shape that is. He's still young, you know. He's still got. I mean, somebody highlighted in the chat before, you know, Elliot Anderson wasn't exactly tearing up trees when he come on and played for us, but now look at him, the lad's flying. Maybe he does need a decent loan move away to really find his feet. I'm not sure. But I think on the whole, I disagree with Darren. Me and Darren spoke today. I disagree. I think the Premier League, the way it is at the moment and the way football is, that is a penalty for Walter Mardy. If you did that on a Sunday morning down the Dog and Duck, you'd get laughed off the pitch and probably a slap on the face with it. But I think in Premier League football, when you look at, I mean, the strange thing for me is, how long did it take them to go look at VAR? You know, if that was at Anfield or Man United, the whistle would have been in the mouth straight away. There'd have been questions answered after. But that's just me. That's just my feeling. I think it was a penalty. I think to come away from Bournemouth 0-0, you know, to get a point, well done, solid defence. Yes, we're not firing, we're not ticking. Walter Mardy isn't that guy that we think he is, as in he doesn't play that position. That's not his game. So it's up to others around him, namely the two wide men, to be a little bit more intelligent and support him and give him better quality. There is a change in system, no doubt about it. When Wissa comes back, maybe we might see a little bit, again, a different change of system or a different dynamic, but not too disappointed. You know, I didn't make the trip, so I can't cry about it, but we go on to the next. But we need to start getting this cohesion going. You know, it needs to start picking up now, because otherwise we'll find ourselves in deep October, November, languishing in mid-table and having some tough European games. So not disappointed, but not elated. We just move on.
Okay, Jeff, give us your views. You've heard what the top part of the panels had to say. You get the privilege of starting off the bottom.
Well, starting at the bottom. Well, I thought we had a reasonable game. I thought Tunali was just extraordinary. And I'd like to say at this point, I think he's the best player I've ever seen in the black and white shirt. He is quite extraordinary. He's just everywhere, does everything. It's a shame we haven't got more of them. Dan Burn was very good as well, I thought. He came out, he was roving up the pitch. You know, both the fullbacks were really quite impressive. There was a very attacking start to the game. I really thought Bournemouth were, you know, this is our, you know, we're here to defend our pitch. But they gradually lost interest and we gradually got control of them. So that sort of died out. And yeah, I watched it on TV and I paid quite a lot of money to various companies to watch us not score anything, because I don't really watch anything else other than Newcastle. The entertainment. What is that noise? That drum sounds like some demented person locked in a garden shed.
I thought you were at the match, Jeff.
No. What would I be doing down there? And they're obviously their sponsor. Who's their sponsor? BJ. We all know what a BJ is, but the 88's a bit of a mystery to me. And I got a few tips from the local paper, the Shields Echo, that apparently they're supplying the hairdressing crew for our guys now with Kendall mint cake for them to nibble while they're working on their hair. And bad news, Adam P is now entirely AI generated, I hear. His cat's still real, which is good news. And the origin of the name Cherries is also a mystery. I think that one was lost a long time ago. And it was, you know, it was good all round, I thought.
Red
I
shirts.
have to remember they had the ball in the net at one stage. Young Mr. Brooks. Anyway, it was a point, and we've got lots of games to play this season, and we're going to have to use all of our squad. So we're going to have to get used to seeing these players who are not necessarily our best. There you go.
And we've got a request for Rex from Jules. Is Rex in the house?
Rex, are you here? Yeah, Rex is here. Hello, Rex.
There's Rex. One man and his
Rex.
dog. There's your request, Jules. Okay.
He's
hello
wearing
to
black and
Jules.
white.
Yeah,
He's wearing black and white. Tom, over to you, mate. What was it like watching that match stateside? Was it a cure for insomnia?
Well, it wasn't very exciting, but I was excited at the thought of Jeff going down to Bournemouth and carpooling with Darren the entire way. I would think that would be fantastic entertainment for the rest of us.
Well, maybe you could get maybe you could take him to Brighton, Darren.
I got a car full, Steve.
Oh, the car's full. Okay.
The car's full, mate.
I'd have to take the dog.
So it wasn't a very exciting game, as you said. First of all, about Miley is I have a little advice for Miley and for Waldemar for that matter. Is you're big lads. Use your bulk. Be big. I think they both get pushed off the ball much too easy. Both of them. Waldemar had some decent hold-up play when he was allowed to, but otherwise he got pushed off the ball by their center backs every single time. And it was physically that they did that. So I thought Miley played all right. I didn't think he played poorly. He played okay for someone who hasn't had a lot of game time and is playing at in a tough environment with people around that he's not used to playing with. Willock, I think, is a little bit different. I think my advice to Willock would be, you're not what you were 2 years ago. You're not as fast. You're not as energetic at carrying the ball and bringing it down the pitch. You need to modify your game. Start using what the tools that you do have. We do know that he has tools, but he still seems to try to want to skin somebody and run by him, etc. He's not that player anymore, and I think it would do him well to reflect on that and adjust his game accordingly. I even have advice for Tino. Shoot the damn ball, Tino. Shoot the ball. He's open at right at the end of the box or whatever. He's got a clear shot, and he'll pass that off. That's what I really like Tonali for. When the ball's coming for him and there's a clear goal that he's going to let it fly, and he's got a cannon. Well, Tino can do that as well. I wish he had a little bit more confidence in his feet. But that's all the negativity I had. I thought there's a lot of positivity. Pope was at 4 clean sheets. We've given up 3 goals in 5 matches or whatever in the league. That's fantastic. I thought Shaw played well. I thought Botman was my man of the match personally. I thought he controlled everything, particularly the second half. Yeah. That could be a little bit because Tonali, we see it week in and week out. But I thought Botman is going to be hard to keep out of the lineup. With that, I thought, again, Tonali, every graded blade of grass, as George said. And Jeff, I think you said he was the best player you've ever seen in black and white. He could be that. He was really, really good last week. Or every match this week. I kind of agree with Darren on the penalty. Is that I reason he didn't get the penalties. As Valdemar flopped over like he was shot out of shot. Come on, be a man. Be tough. Get out there. If you move forward, they're going to see the tug more than if you just flop over anyway. But we played pretty soft, and I'm really disappointed with soft play. Kevin and I disagreed during the match, and he said it was a stone cold penalty. I think it probably was a penalty. I agree 100% with all the lads that said if it was Liverpool or if it was United or whatever, they would have gotten the penalty. I agree with that. But I agree with Darren is that shouldn't be a penalty. Play the ball if you don't need to flop, particularly in the box, and try to get the penalty. I think we do that as a team too often, and quite frankly, it disappoints me. I'd rather let's play the ball, play to win, and then if you get fouled, whether that's in the box or not, you're gonna have to rely on the team to or the refs to call that. But otherwise, play. And that's one thing that's really changed in the game since I've started watching football forever ago, is that now people are looking to get the foul rather than looking to create a play, and that kind of disappoints me. But yeah, so it was a snoozer. I watched it out in Yellowstone. I thought that was kind of neat. It was tough for me to keep looking at the screen when there's pretty views outside the window there, the mountains, etc. But I did, and it was early, and coffee couldn't keep me awake for that.
Good stuff, Tom. Barry, over to you, mate. Oh, is Barry freezing? I think he is. Al-Walid, he's back. Barry, are you there with us? Your internet signal dropped, I think, for a second.
It keeps stopping and starting.
We've got you now. Go for it, mate. Yep, go for it.
For me, I was really disappointed because I thought for the first time in a while, Bournemouth were there for the taking. I think they were really poor. I think they're 2 or 3 star players that they haven't managed to sell in the transfer window just didn't bother turning up. And I think for me, it was 2 points lost. I know a lot of people are saying, well, it's a point and it's better than we did against them last season, but they were poor. I don't know how they're so high up the table if that's the sort of performance they're putting in week after week. They must have played better than that against other teams because they didn't look interested. I think for me, the defence was, like the guys have said, was absolutely sound. I think they probably are going to be our 2 centre-halves going forward. I don't always like the way we play when we've got 3 centre-backs on the pitch, but I can understand why Eddie did it. I think people are being harsh against Miley. I totally agree with George. I think he needs a good run in the team. And if he's not going to get that with us, which I don't think he is at this moment in time, unless it's just odd minutes here and there because of the amount of games we've got, why not let the kid go out on loan? Let him shine somewhere else. Get him a decent run somewhere else, then bring him back in maybe for the start of next season. And hopefully by then he will be challenging the other midfielders because he's not going to get past Joe Linton, Tonali and Bruno. It's only going to be odd games. And if all he's getting is 20 minutes here or a run out in the cup, he's never going to get, like George says, to the ability he was when he was playing week after week after week. He looked class. He looked like he was going to be a star of the future, and he's just not getting that chance. I mean, Walter Marty, I think what we've got to understand is he isn't the centre forward we wanted. You know, he's been bought. He's going to be class. He's going to be a great player. But the centre forward we wanted and that we needed at this moment in time is the bugger who's got injured, is Wisser. He's the centre forward who would have slotted straight into the team, would have played similar style to what we've got. The big German's going to take a while to settle. I think he's a different sort of player. I mean, I was listening to you guys and a couple of people at work, and they were talking about the John Dahl Thomason style of player when he came in, and obviously Shearer got injured and he basically got shoved in the team and he sank like a lead weight. But within him, there was a decent player there. And you just worry. I'm not saying the Germans, I think he's 10 times better than John Dahl Thomason was, but he hasn't got a choice at the minute. He's expected to play a certain role because there's nobody else. And I can understand that because I don't trust Asula. I don't feel confident whenever he plays anyway. I just think the guy's going to take time to settle. We've got to give him that time because we haven't got anybody else. I think we've let ourselves down in respect of not bringing another striker with the amount of games we had coming up. I mean, that to me is why we didn't let Asula go on the transfer deadline day because we had no bugger else. And we knew we were going to be short going into the amount of games we've got. We should have busted a gut to bring somebody else in, but we've gone past that one. It's one of those games, like we've said, we may well have getting beat off them next season. It's just we need to, like Pablo says, we need to start picking up momentum. We need to start playing, and we need to start playing better than that. Because the Barcelona game was great to watch. The first half was great to watch. The second half, they pulled us apart. And watching Bournemouth was absolutely... Well, I listened to it and then I decided to watch it and wish I hadn't. Because it basically I lost 3 hours of my life that I wish I hadn't. I was hoping watching it back, there was something better than the guys were talking about on the radio, but there wasn't. Yeah, just roll on the next one like the guy. And thank God I wasn't stuck in the car with poor Darren because I take my hat off to him going all the way down there to watch that shite.
Okay, Barry. Good stuff. Thank you. Al-Walid, What was the match like in Saudi? It had been a bit warmer, I suppose. That's about it.
Well, the fans are pretty upset, like you guys. But personally, it was a away game. They have Bournemouth. They have a great selection, variables, variety for players. Uh, Also, يعني they did great in this starting of the season. They only, I believe, lost one game against Liverpool, and it was hard. يعني last few minutes loss. On the other hand, Newcastle have a Barcelona game to take really our energy, so it makes sense this draw. But what I didn't like, or I feel like regardless, we play Willock and Miley for resting Bruno and Julianton, but I believe, of course, most of the teams take us more seriously now. They play against us very hard, very serious, and maybe I could say that uh, they know now more, have more knowledge how to stop the key. Uh, key playing system of Newcastle. I think we need to be more, maybe more creative, not predictable. Regarding the penalty, uh, it's always who have. I don't know. Is it the pulling shirt? Is it allowed in football? And this is always make me feel angry, really, because we all know since we are young, any pulling shirt is a foul. Regardless, it shouldn't be heavy injury to have a penalty.
Okay, good stuff, Al Walid. Fantastic. We'll do the ads at the end tonight because Darren is on his way to see the 21s against Norwich. So I want to get his views on the upcoming matches this week. Bradford City at home. Newcastle begin the defence of the Carabao Cup title with a third round tie against Bradford City at Gallagher on Wednesday. It's a 7:45 kickoff. And if the scores are level after 90 minutes, the tie will be settled by a good old-fashioned penalty shootout. City have sold their full allocation of 4,900 tickets, meaning that there will be post-match restrictions on home fans crossing the car park between the Milburn Leazes stands to reach Barrack Road. Anyone who uses that route will need to wait until the City fans have exited or walk down to Strawberry Place and access Barrack Road that way. Team news, Anthony Gordon is available after suspension, but Jacob Ramsey, Johan Wissa and Fabian Shaw miss out. As for Bradford, there was no team news available today. Graham Alexander's side reached the third round thanks to a pair of away victories over championship sides, 2-1 at Blackburn and 3-0 at Stoke City. Ahead of their first visit to Tyneside in almost quarter of a century, Bradford won 3-1 at Cardiff City on Saturday to replace the Bluebirds at the top of League One. Referees Thomas Kirk, it's his first senior game involving Newcastle, and VAR is not applicable in this game. Malcolm MacDonald last week, Darren, said the best thing that Eddie Howe can do pre-match is take the cup in the dressing room, stick it down on the bench and go, it's yours to lose, lads. So that's great advice from Super Mac. There's going to be big changes, Darren, regardless of the result at the weekend. And Newcastle, of course, will have one eye on Arsenal on the Sunday. But yeah, Carabao Cup. It is ours to lose. Darren, what's your feelings about this game? What should Newcastle be doing?
Go and try and defend it. I mean, I wanted to go and try and defend it, but he's got to make some big changes. I don't think he'll change it up. I reckon Ramsdale will play in goal. I think the Cells will play alongside Botman. I'm expecting Murphy to play.
He might be drunk off winning the Ballon d'Or tonight.
No, if he wins, I'll know about football again.
Yeah, but you reckon Murphy will play? Sula must play as well, I would have thought.
I think Sula will be up front, and I think he'll play Gordon, Bruno, and Miley. So I think Gordon's got to play. Ball's got to be dropped. Murphy and I think Miley, Bruno, and Joe Willock again. I think he plays Joe Willock again.
Okay. What's your feelings on the prediction for that?
I'll go for a 2-1 win.
2-1 win. Okay. And Arsenal at the weekend, Darren.
Oh, yeah, bugger. That's a hard one, isn't it? I've gone for a lucky 1-1 draw again.
A lucky 1-1 draw. Okay, Darren, we'll let you go because you've got to get off to the match. Thanks for coming on. We'll see you next week, mate.
See you, boys. Bye.
All the best. Take care, Darren.
Okay, George. I can see we're getting a bit aerated there with Darren tonight.
Me. Goodness gracious.
You haven't got a poker face, George, that's for certain.
Well, my Marjorie always used to say, you should never play poker, because half the time she used to say, she could tell us what I was going to say before I opened my bloody mouth. So, you know.
I can see you biting your tongue, to be fair.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've got to be honest. If my football made me as miserable as that, I might think about packing it in as well. But never mind, that's another issue.
Carabao Cup, George.
What I don't want to happen is that we take it for granted. Bradford City are on the crest of a wave. They were nearly dead a couple of years ago. And then somebody got hold of the opera singer, what do they call her, the Yorkshire woman, Leslie Garrett, and they formed a choir, and the choir started as 50. The choir's now about 10,000. And they've on the back of that fantastic support, they've shot up League One with ease, with absolute ease. And to go to Stoke and win 3-0 tells you where they're at. So I don't want us to go on that pitch thinking it's easy peasy because we're the champions, because it isn't going to be easy peasy. It's going to be a hard game. So I want to see as near a good team as I can. Let's start with a strong team and get in front, and then start putting the extras on towards the end of the game. But I'm looking forward to it, as I always do with every game, and is absolutely excited to see we defend the Carabao Cup. And whoever goes on, make the black and white shirts sing. If Asula's on, then good luck to him, because we just missed by a whisker getting 30 million for him in the summer, which is a pity. It was only Aston Villa's crazy finances that stopped it happening. But never mind. If he scores a couple of goals on Wednesday, all's forgiven. I think we will win, and I think we'll win quite handsomely. And I'm going for a 4-0.
4-0. Okay, good stuff, George. Magnus, Carabao Cup. A bit of a break from the Champions League and the Premier League, and one trophy to defend. It feels good saying that, to be honest.
It's a great feeling, man, and we should all cherish that memory for the rest of our lives. You know, there was only going to be one first trophy after all this time. And they need to take this seriously. I mean, Bradford are not; they should not be underestimated. And any team that is leading a league, even though it's a 2 league below, you could see what Birmingham and Wrexham did last year. They seem to be forced to be reckoned with, even in Championship now. So we cannot take this. Well, we have to take it very seriously. We cannot by no means think this is a walk in the park or cakewalk. But I still think we'll probably see another 7 changes. I thought at the weekend 7 changes was quite a lot, but I totally understand why after such a great challenge in midweek. I think we got enough armory to win this game. I'd like to see maybe Alex Murphy. I'd like to see the South Korean lad Park. I'd like to see him play or at least get some minutes. Then this is a huge opportunity for both Ramsdale and William Osula, because they haven't been getting a lot of minutes, and I think this is a great chance for them to show some skills. Anybody that hasn't been getting enough minutes will definitely be a shout. Probably Gordon I mean, Trippier didn't play last game. He probably will take this one. So lots of changes I'm picturing. And I think we've got what it takes. I am saying for my liking, it should be at least a 3-1 for me.
3-1? Okay.
And if I should go into the Arsenal game, I have we beat them 3 times last season, and I still think we've got what it takes to win them. And I know we have a little struggle scoring goals, so well, I still feel we're gonna win that one at home in our fortress. 2-0 for me at home. It is at home, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Then for me it's a 2-0 again, and it's not going to be an easy game either. Arsenal are strong, but our defense is going to hold, and we're going to be starting to score goals in the league now.
Okay, good stuff. David Cook says Arteta's probably going to complain about Newcastle having too many tall players, Lee. I think that's
more than likely.
Something about the ball, maybe.
Yeah.
Bradford City, for me, looking at, I mean, they are flying high, and for me, Bradford City are, I've been a few times. I used to work for a company that had a box there, so I've been to their place. They're a big club, and they're very well supported. For me, this has got potential banana skin written all over it when you look at how they're performing, in their own division. I think one eye will be on. I mean, it just highlights the test that we spoke about. We played Barca, Bournemouth, and Bradford all in the space of a week or so. So the 3 different kind of tests and what's needed. It's about how the player's mentality is, really. I think with the way that we've been discussing certain players that are not maybe firing, I think he obviously will go back to a 4-3-3. I can't see him playing 3 at the back against Bradford City in a cup. I think we'll go 4-3-3. I also think players like your Barnes, like your Miley, I think he will give them another shot, because this is a perfect platform and opportunity where maybe the standard of the player they're up against is lowered, so maybe they can try and impress themselves and kickstart their season. And I think Eddie will give them that chance. I think he's keen for them to do well, which is why they keep getting these chances. And I think Bradford at home is a perfect opportunity. I don't think it will be a convincing win by any stretch, because it will be a mixture of, I think he will play players like Kieran Trippier, Lascelles. I think you'll have Miley in there. I think he'll stick with Barnes, if I'm honest, to try and give the lad a showcase. Osula up front is an interesting one. I just don't think it'll be as convincing as maybe what some people would think. I think you're looking at a 2-0, 2-1. And we try and propel from there. But by no means Bradford, slouches. They used to play Morecambe a lot locally. They used to have it on kind of Boxing Day games, and it was always a big spectacle. So there's quite a big local feeling around here for Bradford. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting game, mate. Another interesting test. And I think Eddie knows, with our success last year and what it kind of gave us, whereas managers in the past, i.e. Messrs Pardew and Bruce, would field what we would call weakened teams, and we would end up dumped out of the cup and left on our arse. I think Eddie appreciates the value of this cup to us. We as a fan base certainly appreciate that value, having now won it. We want that again, so I think Eddie will go for it. I think it'll be a mixture, but I think we'll get through it.
Arsenal game?
1-1.
1-1. Okay, lots of draws tonight. Jeff, over to you. Bradford in the Carabao Cup.
Well, I just want to say something about young Miley, who's now the new Longstaff, was the local player we
Yeah.
And to be honest, he's stuck there on the port wing, right? And most of our stuff goes down the starboard wing, and then it gets across. So he's not actually where the action is a lot of the time. So that's the thing. And somebody was saying about tackles in the old days. And the old days, tackles were real tackles, and you were trying to break the leg, right? That's the difference. Now they're just pretending your leg's been broken. It's much better that way, I think. I'm quite looking forward to the idea of Ramsdale. I think what I've seen of him, he's a very interesting keeper, good feet. Right. And in terms of tactics, I don't know. We could go 3 at the back. right? Or we could go 4. I've only got 4 of these, so we can't go 5. So that's out, I'm afraid. Yes, I would go with 3-0. And as for Arsenal, at some point, all of those tour guys are going to have to pay off. Right? At some point, one of those corners is actually going to hit one of our guys who's going to put it down, and somebody's going to put it in the net. And I think that's going to be Arsenal. Yeah, so we're going to beat them 3-0 as well.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, I think, as everybody said, there's going to be a lot of changes for the match. I'd like to see Osula up front with Olenga and Gordon on either side of him, and Bruno in the middle of the pitch. I think that up front triangle would make us very potent, give us speed, and have Bruno be able to open up the defense. I think besides Bruno, you'll see Willock on the left and Miley on the right. Certainly they'll rest Tonali for this one. And on the back, I think you will see Hall again. I think we will see Trips on the other side, and probably Botman and LaSalle's in the middles in front of Ramsdale. So I think we got a tight defense. I don't see them scoring a lot of goals on us, and I think that we have enough going forward to make some things happen. So I'm pretty positive for Wednesday. George said 4-0. I'm going to do one better and say 5-0. I'm really positive. I have seen them play. I watch them. They're a good, well team, but we have so much more athleticism than they do that I think that that's going to come into play. And I really can't see them scoring. I think we'll see. It'll probably be Miley playing back in front of the defense in the number 6 role. And I think he can do the job there. So I'm looking forward to a good, easy win on Wednesday. Unfortunately, I won't be able to watch it here in the States. So I'll have to steal a VPN or something somewhere so I can get it online. And then for the weekend, I hope we get into them. I think we're going to go back to a 4-3-3, and it's at home. I want to get into them. I believe Gordon can play on Sunday, right? Yes?
Correct. Yes, he's back on Wednesday as well, which is great.
Yeah, so I think that we can get into them. We got everybody in the natural position on Sunday. I start Murphy. I think Murphy and Gordon on either side will do the job up there and get some service into our big center forward. So I think we'll start all our defensive, everybody that we expect to see. The big call is going to be Cher, Chow, or Botman on the right side. It's going to be kind of interesting to see how that plays on Sunday. But other than that, I think the team kind of picks itself. So I'm going with a 2-1 win on Sunday. Double positive here.
Okay, good stuff. Barry.
Thank you, Mark Byers. Got it.
It's going to be tough, isn't it? Because it's going to be a proper cup match. I mean, they're going to be, like the guys have said, they're going to be so up for it. And I think we have to match them with that, because this is our trophy. This is like you said before, Steve. Eddie should be taking it around the changing room and saying, "You dare let this go at the first hurdle. You flipping dare." No matter who he picks, they've got to be well up for it. I think, like the guys have said, Isula up front because it's probably his level, which I think is absolutely awful. Yeah, but I think he's a championship player at best. So I think he's probably ideal there. The difference for us will be the fitness, the pace that we've got. I think we need to get at them from straight away. The last thing we want is getting towards the second half of the game and it either being goalless or, we need to get at them, put them away early on, because you don't want to be worrying about that later on. God forbid it cancel bloody penalties against Bradford. And I think we'll be strong enough to do it. I think it's going to be hard because, like the guys have said, Eddie's going to have to make some changes. He's going to have to shuffle people about. Lascelles might well be a good choice. It'll be nice to see Ramsdale in goal to see what he's capable of. The midfield, it's a hard one, isn't it? Because Miley's getting so much stick, but he's not really playing in his best position either. So it might be a chance for him to play where he should really play, and then obviously Gordon back. I think we've just got to go for it. Give them a good hiding, and then it would set us up nicely for Arsenal. But I don't know if we've got the people to score those goals even against Bradford at this moment in time. But yeah, and in the Arsenal game, just I've got a feeling, and I might be totally wrong. I think we're going to up our game as we sometimes do against the bigger teams. And I've got a good feeling we're going to turn Arsenal over like we have done in the past. So I'm going to go 2-1 against Arsenal, 2-0 against Bradford, and 2-1 against Arsenal. And I think it's then, like me and Pablo both said before, we then get on some sort of a run and get our season started. Because up until now, it just seems to be stopping and starting. Draws here, there, and everywhere. It'd be nice to get a couple of wins under our belt.
Okay. Finally, Al-Walid, over to you. The two matches, Bradford in the Carabao Cup on Wednesday and then Arsenal at the weekend. Just give us your views and your predictions on those games.
I would like to focus more on the Champions League and the Premier League because it will help us a lot, and with the injury we have. But of course, on the other hand, you don't want to lose the champion from first level, the one you win. So, but if I'm like Eddie Howe, I will put my second lineup and maybe add a couple of 3 players from the first team. I expect 3-0 against Brentford and 1-0 against Arsenal.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you, lads, for your time. Thanks to everybody in the chat. It is Talk of the Tune tomorrow with Sid and Rob. Wednesday, I shall be going live myself. Thursday, Supermat and Gibbo will be in the afternoon, 1 o'clock. Gibbo's got an appointment on the night time. And then Friday, the Amigos will be, as usual, at 5 o'clock. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks to Darren, Al-Walid, Barry, Tom, Jeff, Pablo, Magnus, and George. See you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night.
Thanks, everybody. Good to see you.
Look,
big thanks to all our sponsors, Skips and Bins. You can find them at their website, skipsandbins.com. Contact them at www.skipsandbins.com/contact. Say hello to Low Cost Waste Disposal with Pay As You Go and Contract Waste Management. A big thanks to Mr. Vicky Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. You can find them at their website, mrvickies.co.uk. Email info@mrvickies.co.uk. or telephone 01768 210 102. Thanks to our fanzine sponsor, United Group Travel. There are no strangers on our tours, just friends you haven't met yet. 2 crew driver and courier, local family company, 3-star plus quality hotels and no interchanges. Hot and cold snacks and drinks available on the coach, all excursions included. Their website, unitedgrouptravel.com. Email beverly.ugtl@gmail.com. Telephone 01670 632 460 or 0791 666 4174. Just £30 per person deposit. Thanks to Media Arts for all the help with the technical side of things. And if you like listening to us as a podcast, you can go to Sports Social Podcast Network or to iTunes, Spotify, or other podcast providers. If you want to support the show, then hit the subscribe button. It's free. We do 7 shows a week. Hit the little thumb up under the video, which is the like button, or click share to share to your social media. You can also join the channel on YouTube by hitting the join button for as little as $1.99 a month. If you want to become an NUFC Matters member, you can go to nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk. It's a £25 one-off fee. You get your pen, you get your badge, a key ring, you get your beer mat and your fridge magnet and your membership card, nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk for that. And we have an event early next year, 13th of February 2026, an evening with Beardsley, Waddle and Gascoigne takes place at the Tyne Theatre and Opera House. To buy your tickets for that event, go to the box office 0191 243 1171 or Tyne Theatre and Opera House.uk.